The Lagos State government has allocated 1.052 trillion naira for infrastructural development in its 2025 budget, reinforcing Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's commitment to completing ongoing projects and enhancing the state's urban landscape. Now, the Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Mr. Okpe George, disclosed this during the Budget Analysis Press Conference at Alausa in Ikeja.
It's a joint press conference organized by the Lagos State Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget to give a breakdown of the 2025 budget analysis. The Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget and his counterparts from the Ministry of Information and Strategy, Finance, Transportation, Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, and the Ministry of Health.
Looking at our year 2025 budget and estimates,
Mr. Okpe George says the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service is expected to generate 1.4 trillion naira, accounting for 63% of the total IGR, while other ministries, departments and agencies will contribute about 830.177 billion naira, making up 37%.
The budget for sustainability is not just a fiscal document, but is structured around providing economic stability, environmental stewardship, and social equity to ensure that Lagos continues to thrive sustainably for generations to come. The year 2025 budget emphasizes on key 5 pillars: infrastructure and environmental sustainability, economic diversification, social inclusion and human capital development, and governance and institutional reforms. Rejuvenating and revitalizing multiple sectors within the state still remains this administration's focus, whilst acknowledging Nigeria's economic challenges, particularly high inflation and the effect of the removal of petrol and foreign exchange subsidies. The approved year 2025 budget of 3.367 trillion comprises of 2.071 trillion for capital expenditure and 1.295 trillion for recurrent expenditure, including debt charges, establishing a capital to recurrent ratio of 62 to 38. Total revenue estimated at 2.968 trillion with a deficit funding requirement of 398.662 billion, which represents 13% of the total revenue, which also emphasizes the budget's strong dependence on revenue. Our overall goals in attaining the budget sustainability are to ensure the durability, functionality, and adaptability of our physical assets.
The State Commissioner for Finance assures Lagos residents that the state is managing its finances responsibly and the government is committed to economic stability, social equity, and sustainable development for all.
What was our revenue performance last year? He said it. We performed over 100%. This is unprecedented. That is number one. Then secondly, what also is the normal debt sustainability ratios? Because the most important thing about debt management is in sustainability ratios. Like he said, in Lagos State last year, our sustainability ratio is just about 20%. How does that compare with the global standard? World Bank ratio is about 30%. The national ratio of Nigeria is about 40%, and ours was just only 20%, which shows that our debts are being managed very, very well. But you see, the most important thing to us is, what are our plans for this year? First and foremost, do not forget that budget is a statement of expenditure and income. So this year, in line with what we did last year, we have several strategic initiatives to make sure that we generate much more revenue. We catalyze the business environment. We take the opportunities that are in the environment in different areas that you mentioned to be able to generate much more revenue. And the more revenue we generate, the better our debt sustainability ratio. Secondly, we're also going into what we call creative financing options, self-financing options. What does that mean? It means that there are different other strategic options that we will use to finance our budget that does not, translate into debt. Which are some of the other things we also say we're going to be doing this year. So at the end of the year, you might find out that even the money that we said we're going to borrow, even the deficit financing that we're talking about, we might not even need to resort to deficit financing at all.
While the Commissioner for Transportation, Health and Water Resources speaks about the state government's plans for their ministries and its benefit to the people.
We're currently refurbishing 47 primary healthcare hospitals to bring them up to a very advanced stage of modernization, including the addition of solar panels to be in concert with the new policy of the state in terms of climate-friendly infrastructure. Our major big general hospitals are Massey Street. Everybody can see Massey Street is at an advanced stage. The same thing with Ojo General. Massey Street is going to be the pediatric center of excellence for Lagos, and it will represent the ability to refer patients from Nigeria and the sub-region. Ojo General Hospital is a major general hospital in between Alimosho and Badagry, where we have a gap in terms of access to secondary health care. Emphasis on mental health. We're building the largest mental health institute in Ketu Ejirias for psychiatric cases, as well as for addiction and rehabilitation.
What we want to do is to ensure that we keep ramping up the resilient infrastructure that will help us mitigate against the impact of climate change. Last year, we did so much. And yeah, we had serious rain incidents, but we had bits and pieces of flash flooding statewide. And what the governor has said is we have to improve on that and provide more infrastructure. We also mentioned here that we are trying to transit and decommission some of our landfills, namely Olushosu and the one on the expressway to Ekpe. So which means we are going to transit and implement more of our waste to energy projects and see them to fruition before the end of this year.
Talking about completion of projects, I would like to also mention that most of all our projects are intentional, and we ensure that they also do link up. The Oto-Ilalaro bridge that the SA works spoke about, as Ministry of Transportation, we're also doing the junction improvement for the Okwede Allen road to complement that particular road. Because of the influx of traffic that bridge would bring, we had to quickly get on the junction improvement for that Okwede Allen, such that it would complement that road and be able to carry that traffic. As we speak, that is ongoing and it's about 40-45% done. In the rail space, we also have the Blue Line Phase 2 that is ongoing. The Phase 1 that we all know has moved well over 2 million people, which from Marina to Mautu. But the Phase 2 starts from Mautu to Kokomaiko, and that's also ongoing, and 60%, 70% done, and we intend to finish that this year.
The Lagos State government urges residents to support the initiatives of the authority, comply with tax payments, as revenue mobilization remains crucial in realizing the Greater Lagos vision.